These Birch and Bevel knives are the two stars of this video. They were sent to me for reviewing purposes by Peter from Modern Cooking in Berlin, and I get to keep one of them. Wunderbar! I will take them for a spin on my cutting board. I will dive into the story behind these blades and their makers, and at the end of the video I will decide which one of these knives will stay and which knife I will send back to Germany.
Jetzt geht's los!
Chef enthusiast. Chef enthusiast.
In today's video, we're diving into the sharp and stylish world of Birch and Bevel. Birch and Bevel isn't just a brand. It's a collaboration of passionate minds, craftsmen, metallurgists, machinists, and engineers, all working together to create knives we all love. Birch and Bevel evolved out of the MCX line, which is a collaborative project established by Frederik Spore and the team at Modern Cooking. Frederik is part of the design team and forges many of the Birch and Bevel knives, including these two Gyutos. Frederik's knives are simple, tasteful. I already have this awesome bread sword by
Frederik Spore.
And a Tetsuin metal flow with a handle made by
Frederik Spore. I like to say his name.
Bread knives are lame, but if it's a bread sword, it's pretty effing cool. Former professional chef turned knife virtuoso, Frederik focuses on the nitty-gritty processes, ensuring every knife delivers top-notch sharpness, ergonomic bliss, and cutting-edge performance.
Frederik Spore.
Jonas Johnson. Jonas Johnson is the maestro of Honyaki magic. His knives are prized by collectors and enthusiasts who would wait a year just to get their hands on one of them. Jonas draws inspiration from Japanese blacksmiths and Western traditions, creating Honyaki knives with beautiful hamon lines, custom knives with runic signatures, and unique materials that are basically kitchen poetry. Jonas, like Frederik, is part of the design team at Birch & Bevel, and he also forges Birch & Bevel blades, including this Honyaki.
Hey, where did that thing come from?
I will tell you a bit more about this one at the end of the video, but first, let's talk about Martin Huber, the guy with a little iron in his blood. His involvement with Birch and Bevel extends from forging the stunning Damascus-clad Sanmai blades to making handles. He made the handles of all of the three knives right here. Enter Tobias Hangler, the Austrian wizard. He's the brains behind Apex Ultra, a steel so sharp it could cut through your excuses for not cooking at home. Tobias brings over a decade of experience, a degree in metallurgy, and an artist's eye to Birch and Bevel. Birch and Bevel promises that with proper care, these knives will be slicing and dicing for generations to come. It all starts with the steel. Their knives are crafted with the best quality steels available, mostly non-stainless high-carbon steels. The steels used in Birch and Bevel knives are heat-treated for a hardness ranging between 64 HRC and 66 HRC. These two knives are forged with 1.2419, a low alloy tool steel with tungsten and chromium. It exhibits exceptional hardness and excellent toughness. Positioned between 1.2510 and 1.24195 in the tungsten steel spectrum, it surpasses 1.2510 in wear resistance while maintaining superior toughness compared to 1.2419.05. With proper heat treatment, it attains a maximum working hardness of 64 HRC, outperforming 1.2510. Ideal for both outdoor and kitchen knives, it strikes a balance, providing greater toughness than high-carbon steels like 1.241905, 1.2063, and 1.2562, while offering enhanced wear resistance compared to 1.2510.
You have no idea what you were just talking about now, do you?
I have no idea what I just said, but they were all facts. All I know is that this steel's relatively low carbide content makes it excellent for finely ground cutting edges. The geometry on these Gyutos is designed to be a kitchen all-rounder. The forged tapered blade is satisfyingly thick above the heel and lasery thin at the tip, giving you stability and heft on the one end and dexterity and precision at the other. They have designed the Birch Bevel handles for easy replacement and durability. The handles are made from durable, hard woods and fastened using similar methods to those used for Japanese knives. If your handle is ever getting really damaged, or you just want to replace the handle for whatever reason, it can be easily replaced. This Carbon Gyuto is simple yet elegant, with a rich contrasting blacksmith finish below the spine and satin polished bevels. A balanced forged tapered blade that is satisfyingly thick above the heel yet ultra thin at the tip. It has a decent blade height as well, it's pretty tall. Yeah, it kind of is a very useful Gyuto profile. It has a flat grind, but it has a little bit of convexity. It's really nice and thin behind the edge. So yeah, I think this blade will be nice to work with. The 1.2419 German tool steel should give this blade a tough edge that is both razor sharp and durable. The Carbon Gyuto is finished with the classic Rokkaku Hanmaru Birch Bevel handle. Bog oak, stacked birch and brass combine to deliver a classy looking handle. It has this tapering and curved underside. I think I would like the handle better without the tapering on the bottom, but that's just me. The stacked birch bark and brass bolster is a signature feature. And it's a beautiful and unique accent that sets the Birch Bevel knives apart. Then we have this Masur edition, inspired by natural beauty. The bark from the birch tree has been used throughout European history as a beautiful and renewable source of material for the manufacture of furniture and handles for small tools, especially in the Scandinavian region of northwestern Europe. It's a beautiful accent for the handle and acknowledgement for the tradition and history. Birch Bevel seems like a brand that is catering to the true knife enthusiasts, meaning people in the know, those who are well versed in a variety of knife profiles, steels, finishes and geometry. These are fully handmade knives and they are sold at the lowest price possible. Being completely handmade products, it is to be expected that they are not perfect. They embrace imperfections, embodying the Japanese concept of wabi-sabi, the beauty in handmade flaws and the soul of the makers. Inconsistencies, imperfections, less than flawless fit and finish, it all comes with the completely handmade nature of these products. That being said, these knives are both perfectly fine. There are no inconsistencies, imperfections or flaws worth mentioning to me. They're definitely not on a Tereyasu Fujiwara level of fit and finish.
Ooh, shots fired.
Pshoo, pshoo, pow, pow, show, kapow,
But enough with the small talk. It's about that time. Time for what? Time to write some new pages in my cutting board diaries, aka let's take these babies for a spin on my cutting board. First up, the Gyuto with the birch handle. I like the overall look of this profile. The only thing that I personally don't like as a straight up push cutter is that it doesn't have a true flat spot on the edge. The profile is not super curved by any stretch, and it seems straight from the heel to almost 2/3 of the blade, but there's no true flat spot on the edge at the heel. Aha! An oignon! I'm going to be very gentle with these knives, since I still have to send one of them back to Peter, but using this knife very gently, it cuts through an onion quite nicely. It's not a laser, but it still is pretty easy to go through an onion. I'm also not tearing up much, so it doesn't destroy the texture of the onion a lot. It glides through the bell pepper quite easily, but it struggled a bit going through the tough and dense stem. I'm not using a lot of force here, and it just glides nicely through the bell pepper itself. For a 250mm Gyuto, it does feel nimble. It has a pretty comfortable feel for a lengthy blade. Not too light either, it still has a little bit of heft. The out-of-the-box edge does have a bit of a problem biting through the skin of the bell pepper. It doesn't seem to have enough toothiness to go through the skin without using any force. But when using just a little force, it goes through effortlessly. The food release isn't the best, but there is not a lot of stiction either, so it's definitely not annoying. Before I'll continue cutting stuff with this knife, I'm going to touch it up just a little bit on my Ohira Uchigomori Koppa. It's a very nice finishing stone. Since this knife came out of the box with a slightly underwhelming edge, I want to give it some love and, in the process, get a feel of the steel on this stone. A few passes on my leather strap. I think this edge is ready for the next task. Yeah, now it bites through the skin of this chili pepper. It also cuts through the pepper seeds. It struggles with the leak, but with the heel, you have enough oomph to go through nicely. With the middle and front of the blade, it is hard to go through leak, like with any knife. Leak is just tough like that. Tip slicing just fine. I'm rocking, but I prefer to push cut, and it does both perfectly fine. No troubles with a carrot. No wedging. It doesn't fly through it like it's a laser, but it cuts well. It's not without any effort, but with little muscle, we're cutting up this carrot like a breeze. Also, when the carrot is not stable, it doesn't roll the carrot away, it still goes through pretty easily. Blanking your carrot, no problem. Need little strips, very doable. Slicey, dicey, nicely. I like it when a knife makes a carrot feel like a cucumber. The solid and dense carrot is easy to tackle for this knife. You do hear soft wedge noises when cutting 2 rows of carrot at the same time, but no biggie. To nobody's surprise, it also flies through an ox heart cabbage. Not the most challenging thing to cut, but hey, I needed to cut that cabbage anyway, might as well do it with this knife. Tomato has that skin. You can hear the edge tearing up that skin pretty easily, albeit quite roughly. But it's always nice to cut through a tomato without squashing it at all. Let's cut one more ingredient. This portobello mushroom is very sticky, but all in all, the knife performed very acceptable and was satisfying to wield. Next up, the other Gyuto. Same story with this one when it comes to the profile. Not a true flat spot because of a slight little curve at the heel. Although I do like the look of the profile of these Gyutos, I am not too much of a fan of the shape of the choil to the heel of the edge. I prefer just a rounded choil going straight down to the heel. That's just a matter of taste and personal preference. This one has less trouble decapitating a bell pepper. It also feels light and nimble, and like the other knife, it also has just enough heft. Both of these Gyutos are nicely balanced that way. The out-of-the-box sharpness of this one seems to have a little bit more bite on the cutting edge. Hence it goes through the skin of a bell pepper a tad bit easier without using any force. Slicing with this nicely ground tip, it's just very satisfying. It glides through the onion in a satisfying manner. Again, I'm not tearing up that much, so this knife is making clean cuts. Yeah, I'm having fun. Chili pepper also cuts very nicely. Bites through the skin with ease, clean cuts. The multiple layers of the leek, always a bit challenging, this knife does pretty well. Easy tip slices. Push cutting leek is so satisfying. Rocking really isn't my jam, but it's possible with this knife. Carrot isn't a problem either. The knife doesn't glide through it effortlessly, but it's not wedging by any stretch. The food release of this blade is pretty decent, not too much stiction, nothing really sticks to the blade in an annoying way. Round slices are no biggie. You can comfortably plank carrots, julienne them, brunoise them. I'm doing 3 different sizes of cubes here, and I'm not even thinking about it. It is such a joy just to cut through a carrot without any struggles. You can just get into the zone and enjoy doing your preps. I just love the sound of a knife going through a cabbage. So crispy. Cutting these different type of veggies of different sizes and density, both knives feel like they're up for the task. Tomato skin, no issue at all. All the moist and flavor remain in the tomato. It's not ending up on the cutting board. The soft and sticky portobello mushroom. Nice chunky bites for my soup. So I have been using both these knives on the exact same ingredients. Let's just keep it plain and simple. These Birch and Bevel knives both performed really well. At least they were the best performing knives from non-Japanese makers that I've ever used. These 250mm Gyuto models exhibit a balance between thickness and precision, delivering good cutting performances, decent food release and minimal stiction. The heat treat of this steel seems to be on point too. Both knives never felt chippy on the cutting board. I did feel the need to touch up the Masur edition a little bit. It did come with a very functional edge. It wasn't dull by any stretch, but it needed a little bit more bite. When I was stropping it on my Uchigo Mori, the steel was feeling really good. It gave me nice feedback, and I only needed a few passes to elevate the edge to the level of bite and sharpness of my liking. This one didn't need any touching up. It came with a very functional out-of-the-box edge, but since I get to keep only one of these knives, I also wanted to get an idea about this one when it comes to sharpening. So after using it, I also took it to the stones. And it was feeling really good on the stones as well. I created burrs on both sides of it really fast and easy. Within a few minutes, I was able to bring the edge to a very satisfying sharpness. It definitely passed the paper cutting test with flying colors. So the steel of these knives and the ease of sharpening is on point. Nothing to complain about that department. The beautiful fit and finish contribute to their overall excellence. Yeah, I have to say, these knives are pretty good. Birch and Bevel challenges the high cost and rapid sellouts of one-of-a-kind custom knives. These Birch and Bevel badge style knives offer a custom feel at a more accessible price. So potentially it could reshape the industry a little bit. I can imagine that a knife nerd will be happy with the lower price range and better availability of badge style knives like these. They still have that custom vibe. Of course, not one of a kind, but still fairly limited. And a good, fully handmade product at a much more accessible price point. If successful, Birch & Bevel's approach could influence custom makers to explore different drop styles. For example, as seen with Majime's limited edition feathered pattern knife. Yeah, this shift benefits makers by reducing time spent on precise specs and enables the sale of knives with unique dimensions. So, in my opinion, Peter's venture benefits both makers and consumers, making high-quality steel accessible to anyone seeking a reliable, aesthetically pleasing knife. A dream for knife collectors and cooks alike. So kudos to you, Peter, and the rest of your team. We have sliced through the story of Birch & Bevel like a Naohito Myojin ground Gyuto through butter. Now comes the moment of truth. The battle of the blades. It's time to decide which knife is going to stay in my kitchen and which knife takes the scenic route back to Germany. Will it be this one or will it be this one? This is actually more difficult than I had anticipated. It's like choosing between the Tanto twins. Which of these twins would you pick as your girlfriend? I don't know. I want them both.
Just pick one. You've had your way with both of them already anyway.
Yeah, not sure if that helps, but you're correct. The knife that I will keep is... You'll have to wait for the next video. Yep, I'm leaving you on a cliffhanger. It's like the season finale of your favorite TV show. No, I'm kidding. The knife that I will keep is this one.
Really?
Yep.
Really?
It's the one I picked.
But a birchwood handle always gives you wood?
Too much information, but true. The Masur edition might be more pretty, perhaps. But I have this Birch & Bevel Honyaki blade with a birchwood handle. And this one is gonna stay because I actually bought it with my own money. And since the Honyaki has the exact same handle, I will go for this one. Just because of the fact that I will have two Birch & Bevel knives with two different types of handles. Of course, this one is the Honyaki blade and this one is the Carbon Gyuto, but yeah, now I have two different handles. By the way, I will make a separate review video with this Honyaki blade because I think it deserves its own video and I didn't want to make this video too long. But yeah, that's basically the biggest reason, the only reason maybe why I chose this one over this one. I mean, the blades are pretty much exactly the same, even though these are handmade products and none of them will actually be exactly the same. The consistency in the construction, the fit and finish, and the cutting feel, it's all just very similar. In this case, it really doesn't make a lot of difference to me which knife stays and goes. Both are good knives. I'm just happy as it is to keep just one of them. I actually could just flip a coin and I would be happy with either of them. Nothing but gratitude to Peter for giving me the opportunity to try these knives out. I will send this one back to you, Peter, ASAP, and probably will enjoy using this one for the rest of my life. If you are interested, my knife buddy Franco Alo, you might have heard of his YouTube channel as well. He also creates a lot of nice content for the knife community. Peter also sent him these exact same two knives. And undoubtedly, Franco Alo will also make a really nice review video with these knives, but then the smaller version of them. So keep an eye out for his review on these knives as well on his channel. It's always great to have a second opinion, right? Don't just listen to me and believe everything I say. These are all my opinions. Well, there you have it. As always, thank you for watching this video. Let me know which of these two knives would be your pick down below in the comments. I hope to see you in the next video. Bye, folks.
Chef enthusiast. Chef enthusiast.